Most people will tell you one of two things. Either you should invest every dollar you can, or you shouldn't invest at all until your debt is gone. But what if you're still in debt, and you don't want to ignore investing completely? This video is about why I invest even while paying off student loan debt, and why I think balance matters. This is not financial advice, and I am not an expert. I'm just sharing what I'm personally doing as someone paying off around $30,000 in student loans while trying to be intentional with money. If you're in a similar spot, this might help you think through your own approach. Most advice online falls into two extremes. One side says, don't invest at all until you're completely debt-free, while the other side says, debt doesn't matter, invest everything and let compounding do the work. But real life isn't that simple. Most people who are paying off debt still want to build long-term wealth, not fall behind, and feel like they're moving forward. For me, investing while in debt isn't about maximizing returns, it's about building the habit. I invest a small amount each week, not because it changes my life right now, but because it keeps me involved in the market. It helps me avoid the mindset of, I'll just start later, which usually turns into never. I keep my investing very simple. I invest in VTI, which is a total U.S. stock market ETF, and I do that within my Roth IRA for the tax benefits on that account. VTI gives exposure to large companies, mid-sized companies, as well as small companies. So instead of picking stocks or trying to outsmart the market, I'm just betting on the overall U.S. economy long term. I personally like VTI because it's diversified, low cost, and extremely low effort. I don't want investing to take up mental energy while I'm focusing on paying off debt. A lot of people will try and beat the market averages by picking and choosing individual stocks. I've said it before on this channel that time in the market will always beat timing the market. Trying to beat the average return by choosing individual stocks almost always loses money in the long run. So what do? I buy $20 of VTI every week in my Roth IRA, and I just leave it alone and let it sit there. My priority right now is still paying off debt. Most of my extra money goes towards paying off those high interest loans. Investing to me is secondary and intentionally small. That way I'm not delaying debt freedom, but I'm also not completely ignoring my future. The biggest benefit in my mind of using the Roth IRA is that you're investing money that you've already paid taxes on, and that will all grow, and at the time of retirement, the withdrawals will be tax-free. It is also flexible in the sense that you can withdraw any of your contributions at any time without the penalties. However, if you're withdrawing gains that you've made on the account, there will be a penalty on it. I find this approach to be very hands-off. I make the initial $20 deposit every week, and I just let it sit there. And then the next week comes around, another 20 in. And that's all I'm doing. I'm not constantly checking my portfolio, seeing if it's going up or down. I'm not trying to day trade on individual stocks, which can take up a ton of mental stress, and it can also very easily lead you to lose money. This approach is something that is very simple. It's just a one and done, buy it, and then let it grow. The $20 a week will add up to just over $1,000 in a year, which is a very good start. Since I'm paying off debt aggressively, I'm on pace to be debt-free in 3 years. So that is over $3,000 of contributions in that time. And then after that, I will be able to increase how much I'm investing. If interest rates were higher or my situation was different, I might pause investing. This isn't a one-size-fits-all approach. I think investing while in debt can make sense only if your debt interest rate is reasonable, you have stable income, and you're still making consistent debt payments. But it probably doesn't make much sense if you're carrying high interest credit card debt, barely covering the minimums, or if you don't have an emergency savings. In those cases, debt should always come first. I also think that it should be the first thing that changes once debt is more manageable. The sooner you get into investing, the better, because of the way compounding works. Even small amounts at a time is better than nothing. And honestly, the biggest benefit for me isn't financial, it's mental. Investing even a little bit makes me feel like I'm building something for the future. It keeps me motivated during a phase of life that can otherwise feel like you're only digging out of a hole. This also helps build the investing muscle, even though amounts are small. Once I am out of debt, or at least in a more manageable spot with it, then I will have already built that muscle to invest, and at that point, the amounts will be larger. Starting now is a better idea in my mind to be ready to invest more in the future, rather than waiting until I have enough money to invest and then have to start building later on. I'm not claiming that this is the best strategy, but this is the best strategy that works for me right now. If you're paying off debt and still thinking about investing, hopefully this gives you a more realistic way to look at it. No fake success stories, just progress. Thanks for watching.